So welcome everyone today. This meditation session. Now maybe it's a good idea to go through the stages that we went through in the meditative process, just right now or before this talk began. And you have noticed that we went through a few steps, and there is 3 steps that we went through. The first one was preparing the body by relaxing each body part and establishing an initial mindfulness. Second step is then resting in present moment awareness. And the third step is resting in silent present moment awareness. So in all these 3 steps, we are letting go of something, and we are also building a certain power. So in this first step, obviously we are letting go of tension in the body. You might have noticed that there is quite a lot of tension in the body. It's a very habitual form of tension, often is in the shoulders or in the forehead, in the chest. Also in the belly there is very often quite a lot of tension, in the hips. You might also find that on the inside of your body that there is tension once you have relaxed an outer layer of muscles and skin. But you might find also on the inside there's often some tension, which is very often also linked to emotions. So if we are relaxing the body like this, we are sort of preparing the body for the meditation practice. It's important to have the body aligned properly for this relaxation process. So basically you can say that you are relaxing the soft tissue around the skeleton. So if the skeleton is properly aligned, then also the relaxation can flow. It's almost like melting down at the side of the skeleton. We can talk of 2 types of tension. There's the necessary tension that keeps your body upright, that you need to sit straight, right? And then there's unnecessary tension, like the tension in your forehead or the unnecessary tension in your belly that you don't really need to keep sitting upright. You might have discovered that for yourself also. So here we are using the body as a very easy tool to establish some mindfulness, to bring the mind to something that is real, not to some story of your life and how things should be and how they could have been and so forth, but to something that is actual, a factual experience of yourself, which is the body. Also, this is very good for healing if you are paying attention to your body. The body likes that very much, actually, if you're paying attention to it. Most of the time we don't. We eat food not paying attention to the food. We're digesting the food not paying attention to the digestive process. We are walking without knowing that we walk. We are often also exercising without really knowing that we are exercising, because we're seeking continuous distraction in the form of entertainment, videos, music, and so forth. So it is very wholesome and healthy for the body if you're paying attention to it. And if that attention is coupled with the process of relaxing and softening, even better. And you will discover that for yourself. After doing this consistently every day for a few weeks, you will notice significant improvement in terms of how you feel, how relaxed you are, and how much easier it is not to get stressed out by circumstances in life. So therefore it is very good to learn to sit still and relax. So this is what we do in the first step. You're aligning your posture and you relax all the soft tissue in the body. Now, what do you let go of? It's tension. What do you build? It is the pleasure of relaxation. So a relaxed body becomes, in a way, more subtle, more enjoyable. If your body is constantly tense, there's a whole lot of pain in the body. Most of the pains we are experiencing in the body are coming from tension, actually. So it's a good thing to relax. Also, besides relaxing the muscles just like this, you're also using your mind to visualize the relaxation happening. You can think of your cells becoming more soft, for example, or more open, more spacious. You can even think of your cells, you can feel your cells are healing, or you can watch as the tension is evaporating or melting into the ground, or whatever feels good for you, you use that. Or whatever feels helpful to relax on deeper levels than just on the muscular level. Now in the second stage, once we have prepared like this, then we are coming into present moment awareness. So here we are letting go of the mental story of the future and the past, which is very obviously a great burden. Yes. Most of the time, future and past is existing in our mind. It is created all the time in terms of, for many people, unfortunately, in terms of worrying or regrets, shame, I wish I wouldn't have done that, and I hope I will do better in the future, and I hope I will be there soon, I'll be happy soon. Most people in the world, happiness is something that is supposed to happen in the future. Have you noticed? So once you do everything right, then happiness will be the result. I'd like to invite you to reflect on that deeply. You spend a significant amount of time already in this life, so are you done yet? How likely is it that you will be done in the future? Are you happy yet? How likely is it then that you will be happy in the future? Our entire life is a search for happiness, isn't it? It's a search for more comfort, happiness, enjoyment. For some people, it's a search for the self, the soul, spiritual fulfillment, balance, you name it. We are constantly searching something. We're trying to get somewhere. So all the business that goes on in this entire world is supposed to get us somewhere. Whether we're talking on an international level, a country trying to get somewhere, to a very small cell in your body trying to get somewhere. Everything is on the way, getting somewhere. And nothing ever arrives. It is also the fact that for most people, arriving is not a concern. We're not really thinking about arriving. We're rather in a perpetual state of dissatisfaction, really, being unsatisfied with the way it is. And that is arising as a result of having a strong belief in the mental future and the mental past. Our construct of where we came from, who we are, and where we are going. Now, when you're free from that, when that is gone, you're also getting something, you're building something, namely the pleasure of presence. It's a funny thing, but once you're dropping the search and you're arriving, there it is. Happiness is right there. So most of our lives we spend running after it, never really realizing that we're running after it. And then something as simple as arriving in this present moment, fully aware, and staying in it long enough to settle into it, and then there it is. It's always been here. It's always been right there. It's probably also cultural conditioning for a great part. It plays a great role in it, that we have learned that once you have finished first grade, second grade, then there will be third grade, and then there will be fourth grade, and then after finishing school there will be university, and then there will be a job, and then retirement, and then we don't talk about what comes after that. It's too depressing for most people, because our lives are quite empty like that. We never really live our life. We never really feel it, because we're always searching for it. And then it's also reflected in many very famous fairy tales, and they were happy ever after. And this is what we're actually looking for. It's like, if we do the magic, if we do it all right, then I'll be happy forever after. It doesn't happen though. There is nobody who is happy forever after. Even people who get a lot of stuff, they have a lot of financial wealth and abundance, there is no ever after happiness. They're still searching. They're still accumulating more wealth. It's not enough yet. $10 billion, not enough yet. It needs to be 11 billion, 12 billion, more. More power also. I need more power, more influence over the global market and politics, the education system, control over more and more people, world domination, whatever. It's never big enough. And that's because we're operating from that basic sense of not being satisfied. So whenever dissatisfaction operates, it is unsatisfied. In 10 years also, it's still a sense of lack that keeps you going. And in 10 years' time, it will still be the same sense of lack that keeps you going. It's pretty sad and funny at the same time. There's like two parts of the mind. One is the doer, one is the knower. I've covered that before. But this doer, the function of the doer is to do. The function of the knower is to be aware. There's these two aspects. You can also say consciousness and activity. So the doer is never done. It always needs to do something. Whether that be in 10 years' time or in 20 years' time, it still will do. And this is kind of, for most people, the only driver's seat of life is the doer. The doer is the driving force in life. Constantly doing something. Sometimes you lie down in your bed at night and you can't sleep. You need to do something. Just lying down there doesn't work. You need to do something. Sometimes you just sit on a park bench. It's not good enough. You need to do something. You take out your phone or a book or start a conversation with someone else who's sitting there. What could I do? What should we do today? We could do many things. Let's go there. Let's eat this. Always need to do something. So that is one part and one aspect of life that has its place. It's not a bad thing. It has its place. Obviously, when you have a bad breath, it is sensible to go into the bathroom and brush your teeth. It's a form of doing that has its place. If you're not brushing your teeth ever, then your teeth will rot. So it's good to brush your teeth. It is good to go to the bathroom if you need to go and pee. Not doing anything gets us nowhere. It's not possible even. Even not doing can be a form of doing for the doer. So, what am I going to do today? I'm going to do nothing. Even nothing can be something the doer owns and says, all right, today I'm going to do nothing. But it still feels like something to do, even if it's nothing. So it's not really possible not to do anything. Life requires doing. Life is doing. Life is manifesting and doing. But there is another aspect, and it is that aspect of consciousness in which everything is happening. For the sake of ease of language, I will say in which everything is happening. In that consciousness, the entire life is experienced. There is always something that is aware of whatever goes on. Whether it is, quote-unquote, too many thoughts, or a restless body, or unfulfilled goals, something is aware that this is there. I would say also life is appearing to something, to someone. The body is appearing to something. Something is aware that there is a body. Something is aware that the body sits in this room right now. So that's the aspect of knowing, of consciousness, of awareness, which is deeper or an underlying truth to all the activities and all the stuff of life. There's something that doesn't arise and fall. In life, everything arises and falls, it develops, it changes, it is impermanent. But awareness is not. It exists in a realm of presence. Instead of saying awareness, you can also say presence. You can also say what you fundamentally are. The doer, of course, will say, I'm trying to be aware. Awareness, however, can be aware of that. There is something, there is an aspect inside of me that wants to be aware. I recognize that. I see it. So whatever it is, all of your thoughts and your emotions and your experience of life through the five senses, all can be seen by this awareness. So it's a deep truth. The most fundamental thing you can say about any human being is that truth of there's something that is conscious. And it takes us out of this kind of perpetual thinking up stories of future and past towards something that is significantly deeper and more liberating also. Letting go of future and past in that second stage, if you do so thoroughly, is actually enough. You fully understand in that space, quite automatically, that there is just this moment, ever. There is not a multitude of moments. There is no future or past. There is ever just this moment. And in it, things appear and disappear in a very momentary way. So if you stay fully present long enough, that will become more and more obvious to you. Your sense of having arrived will grow, and with it, satisfaction, happiness, naturally. With it also, the feeling of being free from all the stuff of the world. The body, our duties, our possessions, they are there, Yet we are not enslaved to any of that anymore. We're not imprisoned by the body anymore. We're not imprisoned by death even anymore. We're not imprisoned by duties, responsibilities. We're not imprisoned by future and past anymore. The present is freedom. Therefore, we should train to abide in it, ideally even as it, to abide as presence. Now then we move on to the third stage, where all commentary is abandoned. All the inner verbalizations, the chatter is fading there. And why is it fading? Many people get this stage a little bit wrong and try to get rid of their thoughts. It is not that simple. You can't just get rid of your thoughts. But you have the choice to focus on the silence also, which is already there. You can look at this cushion and I disappear. Right? You don't have to get rid of me. You just look over there and I'm gone. There's this saying or this quote which I say sometimes, two men behind bars, one sees the mud, the other sees stars. So you kind of have an option there. What are you looking at? Are you looking at the fact that there are lots of thoughts, too many thoughts, and you have to get rid of them? Or are you looking at the fact that between the thoughts there is space? What are you nourishing with your attention? Are you nourishing the space? Or are you nourishing the thoughts? This is your option, it's your choice. So in stage 3 you notice, there are objects arising and passing in my mind, thoughts, imaginations, whatever. But there is also silence every now and then. The more you notice the silence, the more moments of silence there will appear. You're attracting it by paying attention to it. You're attracting silence. The more silence there is, the more comfort there is. So here we're letting go of inner noise, of inner verbalization. And what do we get in stage 3? We're getting the pleasure of stillness. Each pleasure is higher on each level. At first, the pleasure of relaxation in the body. Second, the pleasure of presence. The third, the pleasure of silence. And you can spend a long time refining and cultivating each stage. And you're doing a good job. Also, good news is that you can practice this sort of meditation in any circumstance. Right now, as I'm talking with you, for example, I can notice that at the same time my mind is quiet. It doesn't have anything to say. And you can notice that probably too if you're listening right now, that there can be a portion of your attention that looks within, and you will see there are no thoughts going on in your mind right now. It's funny, isn't it? As I'm talking and you're listening to me, you don't think. You're just open and receptive. So you can notice the silence. The silence is there for all of us. It's just we don't notice it. Because we are accustomed to looking at noise, at objects, at things. We're very phenomenal beings. We're constantly looking at a phenomenal world in front of us. Ooh, what's this? That shouldn't be there. There's too many thoughts over there. So we don't see ourselves. We don't see that our center is actually quite silent. There might still be thoughts around it, and language and talking or listening might still go on, but there is something in you that is deeper and that is quiet, and you can notice it right now, effortlessly. So this is where we are building from. You want to accumulate moments of practice in which you cultivate this falling back into the right kind of state. And that makes that state grow. The more you aim to abide in this present state, which is quiet in whatever you are doing, the more presence you are inviting into your life like this, the more powerful it becomes. And the more it consumes your suffering. If suffering doesn't find footing in presence, it is too feeble. It changes too fast. And in most cases, your suffering is but a story in your head. It is not a real, actual problem. Even let's say you have some sickness and you're tied to a hospital bed and you have no means to pay for the bill. The problem is still the story in your head. Well, how am I going to pay the bill? Poor me, I'm here, I'm tied to the hospital bed, I don't know what will happen to me. I would like to know what will happen to me though, and I want it all to go out well, and so I can be happy ever after. But if you already have arrived, then there even is space for this situation, and it's fine. There's enough trust in life. But the self, the ego, doesn't really trust life. It wants to manage life. It doesn't trust it. So therefore it needs to manage life, and it needs to kind of, how you say, impose its will upon life. Now, life should go that way. But life goes this way. Yes, but it should go that way. Now you have conflict. That is suffering. It is not necessary for you to suffer. If life goes this way, you're fine with it. You're still here. You don't seek yourself in the later. You've found yourself. So whatever way life takes is irrelevant. It doesn't matter anymore. Because you are here. We're not a victim of our idea of how the future is supposed to be anymore. That is peace. You are free to rest. Where everyone else is still running around, you are done. So this is what we cultivate by coming into the present, by opening up to the present. You can even say in a way to surrendering to this moment. Devoting our attention to it. So like this, it would be proper practice. Okay, I think this is enough for today.